Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Before I begin, here are my disclaimers. Today I am going to give you an update about Nurix Therapeutics Inc. quarterly report. Nurix Therapeutics Inc. is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company that focuses on developing therapies for various diseases. The company's pipeline includes several promising candidates that are currently in different stages of clinical trials. One of the key areas of focus for Nurix is cancer treatment, where they have three main programs: NX-5948, NX-2127, and NX-1607. These orally bioavailable compounds target specific proteins involved in B-cell malignancies and autoimmune diseases, with NX-5948 and NX-2127 being BTK degraders, and NX-1607 being a CBL-B inhibitor. In addition to cancer treatment, Nurix is also developing therapies for inflammatory conditions. Their IRAK4 degrader, NX-479/G-6791, is currently in clinical trials for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis and other inflammatory diseases. Nurix has established strategic collaborations with major pharmaceutical companies such as Gilead Sciences, Sanofi, and Pfizer to co-develop and co-commercialize multiple drug candidates. This partnership will enable Nurix to leverage its expertise in small molecule and antibody therapies while also expanding its reach and resources. Overall, Nurix Therapeutics Inc. is a biopharmaceutical company with a diverse pipeline of promising therapeutics for various diseases, including cancer and inflammatory conditions. Nurix Therapeutics Inc. maintains a market capitalization of $2 billion, broadly in line with the industry peer group. Nurix Therapeutics Inc. trades at a higher price-to-book ratio of 2.95 times relative within the industry. While the stock does not screen as absolutely cheap, mixed valuation signals relative to industry peers prevent a definitive conclusion. With the broader industry trading at lower valuation levels, this may reflect transitional pricing dynamics rather than clear mispricing, warranting further analysis of earnings quality, growth sustainability, and balance sheet strength. The balance sheet appears very conservative, with liabilities representing only 22% of total assets. While this indicates low financial risk, investors should examine the composition and quality of the company assets to determine whether they justify the current valuation. Average liabilities have increased consistently as the company expands. Importantly, both assets and shareholder equity have grown at least 20% faster than liabilities, indicating that the business is expanding substantially and generating value after covering its obligations. Shareholder equity has increased on average, but the growth is not consistent year over year. This may indicate one-off events such as asset sales or capital raises, rather than durable business performance. The share count has increased over the past 5 years, while revenue has continued to grow. This suggests the business may rely on shareholder dilution to fund expansion. Investors should closely monitor whether growth can eventually be sustained without dilution. The income statement shows that the company have been growing its revenue annually, but the operating income have not been increasing. This shows that the business is under pressure with rising cost. The primary drivers of revenue growth or decline in the biopharmaceutical industry can be categorized into several key areas. On the growth side, successful collaborations with pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies can lead to new products, technologies, and revenue streams. Regulatory approvals for drug candidates can also significantly increase revenue, as well as the commercialization of these candidates. Market acceptance by physicians, patients, and other stakeholders is crucial in driving revenue growth. In contrast, several factors can contribute to revenue decline. Changes in regulatory frameworks, pricing controls, and reimbursement practices can negatively impact revenue. Competition from generic or biosimilar medications can erode market share and revenue. Patent expiration can also lead to loss of exclusivity and reduced revenue. Additionally, cybersecurity incidents related to AI applications can harm reputation and revenue. Other key drivers that can impact revenue growth or decline include employee retention and recruitment, global economic conditions, and research and experimental expenses. Attracting and retaining key personnel is crucial for business success, while global economic conditions and compliance with environmental, health, and safety laws can also have a significant impact on revenue. Net income and profit margins have undergone significant changes over the past year. Initially, net income decreased from a $264.5 million loss in FY 2025 to an $87.2 million loss in CONE 2026. This decline was attributed to substantial losses incurred during history, potential delays in clinical development, marketing approval, and commercialization, as well as high expenses and regulatory requirements. Profit margins have also been unstable and decreasing due to various factors. The company's dependence on others for manufacturing has led to supply chain disruptions and potential tariffs. Additionally, the limitations on net operating loss, NOL, carryforwards and potential for increased future tax liability due to ownership changes and NOL limitations have negatively impacted profit margins. The reasons behind these changes are multifaceted. Significant losses and increasing operating expenses have contributed to the decline in net income and profit margins. Regulatory uncertainty, potential delays or limitations on obtaining guidance from FDA, and changes to budget and staffing of governmental agencies have also played a role. Furthermore, uncertainty in global supply chain, macroeconomic conditions, trade restrictions, and limited number of manufacturers have added to the challenges faced by the company. In summary, net income and profit margins have decreased due to a combination of factors including significant losses, high expenses, regulatory requirements, delays in clinical trials and development, and potential need for additional funding. The uncertainty surrounding global supply chain, macroeconomic conditions, trade restrictions, and limited number of manufacturers has also negatively impacted the company's financial performance. The analysis of the company's financial performance reveals a concerning trend regarding its operating cash flow. The data indicates that the company has been experiencing negative operating cash flows in recent years, with figures of $71.9 million in 2026 and $61.1 million in 2025. This suggests that the company is struggling to generate sufficient cash from its core operations, which can be a significant concern for investors and stakeholders. The company's financial situation reveals some notable changes. The total current liabilities have seen a significant increase of $5,728, while long-term liabilities have also risen by $2,547. Although these figures suggest an uptick in debt levels, there is no explicit mention of substantial changes in interest expenses. Furthermore, operating lease commitments have increased, which may contribute to the rise in debt level. Overall, it appears that the company's debt level has likely increased slightly due to the increase in liabilities, but the impact on interest expenses remains unclear. The performance of various regions and segments in the market has been impacted by several factors. On the negative side, the European Union, EU, experienced disruptions due to the UK's exit from the EU. This had a ripple effect on Germany, which imposed strict price controls that may affect revenues from sales of drugs. As a result, these two regions performed poorly. On the other hand, Northern Ireland was able to capitalize on an opportunity. The amended Northern Ireland Protocol under the Windsor Framework allowed medicinal products to be authorized by the MHRA and bear a UK-only label. This development enabled Northern Ireland to perform well in the market. Management is expressing concern over several key areas that could impact the company's outlook. Regulatory uncertainty, particularly regarding marketing approval, is a significant worry. The introduction of generic versions of the company's drug candidates also poses a threat to sales. Additionally, intellectual property litigation and evolving data protection rules and regulations are potential risks. The company is also aware of challenges related to artificial intelligence, tax law changes, disaster recovery plans, and quarterly fluctuations in results. Furthermore, management is concerned about compliance with securities rules and regulations, attracting and retaining qualified personnel, changes in healthcare payment systems, and analyst projections and guidance. Overall, the company's management is cautious about various factors that could impact its business, indicating a need for careful planning and strategy to mitigate these risks. The company's dividend policy is a notable aspect of its financial strategy. According to the provided information, the company has chosen not to pay dividends to its shareholders. This decision is explicitly stated in two separate sections of the document, further emphasizing the company's stance on this matter. On page 19, it is clearly mentioned that no dividends have been declared as of February 28, 2026. Similarly, page 93 confirms that the company has not paid dividends, with a clear notation stating, has paid dividends. No. This consistency in messaging underscores the company's commitment to its dividend policy and suggests that it may be prioritizing other financial objectives over distributing profits to shareholders through dividends. There are concerns about inventory buildup and supply chain disruption in the manufacturing process. One major concern is the risk of supply chain disruptions due to changes in government policies or unstable economic conditions in China, which could lead to product supply disruptions and increased costs. Additionally, there are limited technology transfer agreements and lack of long-term committed arrangements for key materials, making it difficult to ensure a stable supply of raw materials. The risk of regulatory noncompliance by contract manufacturers, CMOs, is also a concern, as well as the potential for FDA or EMA approval withdrawal for manufacturing facilities. The industry faces challenges in identifying and qualifying replacement manufacturers due to limited numbers capable of manufacturing under CGMP regulations. Suppliers may experience disruptions to their supply chains due to macroeconomic conditions, leading to delays and added costs. The uncertainty in obtaining chemical or biological intermediates in sufficient quantity and timely manner is also a concern, which could delay development, testing, and clinical trials. Overall, the potential for inventory buildup and supply chain disruption poses significant risks to the manufacturing process, requiring careful planning and management to mitigate these risks. That concludes the financial summary for Nurix Therapeutics Inc. Feel free to comment below, and I will be happy to answer them when possible.